As most people would be aware, earlier today the Australian government raised the national terrorism public alert level to high. A high level means that a terrorist attack is likely. This has not occurred as a result of a specific threat or plot of a terrorist attack in Australia, but more a combination of factors and concerns over time, particularly in relation to matters associated with activities in the Middle East, and has led to the need to increase the level here in Australia to raise awareness of the increase in concern and to ensure that the public continues to remain vigilant in respect to the threat or risk of an attack in Australia, and also that critical infrastructure owners and operators likewise are aware of the heightened level of alert and take appropriate action.
Will you be asking Australian Federal Police to review their decision to remove officers from Hobart Airport?
Well, we did announce yesterday that if the national threat level went to high and the public alert level also went to high, that we would formally request the Australian Federal Police to review their decision to withdraw their permanent presence from Hobart International Airport.
Have you done so?
We will be doing so. Now, the elevation of the public alert level to high only occurred today, and the Commissioner will now be writing formally to the Commissioner of the AFP, formally requesting him to review that decision.
What other measures are Tasmania Police taking?
The State Emergency Management Committee and the State Emergency Management Advisory Group met this morning. That has representation from all government agencies. We briefed all other agencies in relation to the fact that the change in alert level was likely today. We spoke to them in relation to what they needed to do to ensure that there was enhanced security of their premises, that relevant emergency plans were reviewed, and that key staff within their respective agencies were aware of the increase in the level and were taking appropriate action. In terms of Tasmania Police specifically, we've briefed all our command areas, and from the public's viewpoint, what the public can expect to see is probably more police patrolling of government buildings and places of mass public gatherings such as sporting events and the like.
We've got some major events coming up in Hobart. Is there anything you're concerned about in particular, maybe the Taste of Tas? Or?
We have no specific concerns. There is no specific threat to Tasmania or to Tasmanians. We always work with operators of major public events and sporting operators in respect to security. In any event, all this means, in real terms, is that we'll be working more closely with them to ensure that our security arrangements for those types of events is appropriate given the increase in the public alert level.
Do we have the resources necessary if there was a terrorist attack in Tasmania?
Tasmania certainly does have the resources necessary to respond to any form of attack here, and there are national arrangements, Commonwealth response arrangements, so that the Commonwealth and all states and territories assist each other should the need arise. So these are well structured and well practiced arrangements, and there is certainly no concern in relation to us having the capability and the capacity here in Tasmania to deal with a situation should it occur.
Have you spoken to Tasports and places like that?
We're liaising with all critical infrastructure owner and operators, both in writing and through contacting them, each of them as well, and ensuring that they are fully conversant with what they need to do.
What do you recommend Tasmanians do with this information?
Well, I think Tasmanians just need to be aware that the alert level has been raised across the country, and continue to be vigilant in terms of any suspicious activity that they may see, that they think the authorities should be aware of, and to report that either through the National Security Hotline or to police.
What's suspicious activity?
Well, it can be anything. It's very hard to to nail down precisely what suspicious activity is, but generally speaking, it's behaviour or conduct that people don't feel right about, that they feel uncomfortable about. And it's not possible for me to go through a complete list of things that might be suspicious, but if you saw people perhaps videoing in unusual locations or leaving parcels unattended, particularly in places where there's large numbers of people or on public transport, those types of activities should certainly be reported to police or through the National Security Hotline.
If the AFP doesn't formally review the decision or doesn't change the decision, does Tasmania Police have the resources to deal with the terror threat at the airport?
The Australian Federal Police remain responsible for security at Hobart Airport until the 21st of October. We have been working with them over the past few months since they announced that they would be withdrawing their permanent presence. We've said quite clearly that we will not be, as in Tasmania Police, will not be maintaining a permanent presence at Hobart International Airport in the same manner as what the Federal Police have been doing for some years now. But we certainly will be responding to any incident that requires police attention at Hobart Airport and patrolling the airport as part of our routine patrols. So effectively it will be policed in the same manner that we've been policing other airports in Tasmania, including Launceston, which for us is a fairly significant airport with a lot of passenger movements. And we will be doing the same at Hobart Airport as what we've been doing at Launceston and other airports since the AFP's been at Hobart.
So why are you asking the AFP to review the decision then?
Well, we're asking the AFP to review the decision in light of the increase in the national public alert level, that the likelihood of an attack within Australia has gone from something that could occur to something that's being assessed as likely. So we think it's appropriate in the circumstances, given the timing of that and the timing of the AFP's withdrawal of the permanent presence from Hobart Airport, which leaves Hobart as the only capital city airport in the country without a permanent AFP presence. We think it's appropriate that the AFP should review that in the context of this rise in the alert level.
Are you asking them to reverse the decision or just to keep AFP officers there until the alert's downgraded?
Well, we're asking them to review the decision outright. We don't know how long the national public alert level may remain at high. It's been on medium since the system was introduced in 2003. So that's over a decade, and no one at this stage can foreshadow how long it may remain on high.
What kind of a timeline are we looking at for the Commissioner to arrive to the AFP and potentially get a response?
That will be within the next couple of days.
Does Tasmania Police have any unit or any part of the force that looks into terrorism on a regular basis or a daily basis?
One of the commands within the Department of Police and Emergency Management is our Special Response and Counter-Terrorism Unit, and part of their mandate is to provide advice to government, to other agencies, to operators and owners of critical infrastructure, and to the public in relation to the risk and threat of terrorism in Tasmania. So yes, we do have a specialist command within the department that is responsible for these sort of things on a day-to-day basis, and they ensure that we maintain a coordinated capability and capacity here in the state to respond to any threat or act of terrorism.
Had they raised any concerns in the lead up to today?
The Special Response and Capability, the Special Response and Counter-Terrorism Unit hasn't raised any specific concerns. They're obviously aware of the potential and now the actual rise in the threat level, and they've been working with me and others within the department and across government to make sure that we had the appropriate arrangements in place should the change occur, which of course it now has.
Cool.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you,
Can I ask, please?